This is the sixth in a series of 7 videos which take a holistic view in the design of flexible delivery materials. In this video, I look at a hierarchical approach to models of technology integration. It should first be acknowledged that any such model is by nature artificial, and that a hierarchical structure tends to create boxes which neatly describe some of the features of technology in education. However, the integration of technology into education should be seen as a continuum rather than a set of mutually exclusive possibilities. This slide briefly introduces the terminology that I've used. It should be first stated that such approaches may be campus-based or distance approach, or a combination of the two. Here, the traditional or conventional approach to teaching and learning is used as a base upon which to describe the technology-enhanced, technology-integrated, and technology-based approaches to teaching and learning. This comparative approach is not to suggest that conventional or traditional manners of teaching and learning are less appropriate in particular contexts than the other models that are described. Blended learning can broadly be defined as a mixture of campus-based and or distance learning approaches, conventional and or technology-enhanced, integrated or technology-based approaches. Blended learning uses the best features of traditional technology-enhanced, technology-integrated and technology-based models, where the teacher and interaction with other students remain a central feature. It would be inaccurate to suggest that technologies have not been a feature of what we might describe as conventional or traditional teaching and learning spaces. In a broad sense, the conventional or traditional spaces may be considered as technologies in themselves. They have traditionally used technologies such as whiteboards, blackboards, print materials, slides and overhead projectors. What differs with the introduction of digital technologies is the speed and the ability of these technologies to transfer data which is of multiple media forms, that is, text, audio and visual. In and of themselves, digital technologies do not increase the flexibility of teaching and learning approaches. The flexibility or inflexibility of a teaching and learning program is not determined by the technologies that are used, but by the pedagogies which underpin the use of those technologies. In an earlier video, I talked about variables that can be used to describe the way in which flexible delivery is manifest. And I would propose that a model that deconstructs the characteristics of the delivery approach is a suitable one for describing the flexibility or inflexibility of the system, rather relying on the nature of the technologies used. So, in a hierarchical sense, we now move to descriptions of technology-enhanced, technology-integrated and technology-based approaches, with a reminder that although these are described as hierarchical, I would rather see them as a sense of a continuum. The technology-enhanced approach complements rather than replaces existing teaching and learning approaches. Therefore, we might see the integration of PowerPoint presentations, email communications and internet searches. In this case, should the digital technology be removed, one would return very quickly to the conventional or traditional approach with no major change in the experience for learners. Once we move to a technology-integrated approach, technology becomes a more integral part of the teaching practice. Removal of the technology would result in a significant upheaval in the way in which teaching and learning has occurred. Teaching practices are modified with the introduction of technology-based learning and technology-based assessment. This might include the introduction of computer laboratories or banks of computers that are used to access digitized resources. In the technology-based approach, technology is central to teaching and learning practice. That is, if the technology were to be removed, teaching and learning would not be possible. teaching practices dependent on the technology-based instruction and assessment. Examples of this sort of technology-based approach might include the use of virtual classrooms and computer-based simulations. But does technology imply flexibility? I'd like to direct you to comments made earlier in this video. So let's now try to examine the ideas of technology-enhanced, technology-integrated and technology-based approaches in the fields of teaching, learning and assessment. As specific examples, technology-enhanced approaches might include the use of electronic whiteboards, slide presentations, audio-visual presentations, podcasts or audiocasts, the use of email, SMS and technologies such as Twitter. In terms of learning materials, some may be web-based. That might include the use of blogs and wikis and internet searches. Here, I think that what we see is the traditional sorts of distinction between what the teacher does and what the learner does. In terms of assessment, the use of technology might be limited to the submission of assessment. The technology-integrated approach may well include all of the technologies or some of the technologies already described in the technology-enhanced approach. What I hope you see on this slide is that there is a greater level of integration of teaching and learning function. It might include the use of integrated websites, blogs and wikis. In terms of assessment, it is possible that we've now moved to a more computer-managed assessment approach. In the technology-based approach, what we see is a further integration of teaching, learning and assessment into a more cohesive whole. It includes the use of virtual classrooms and computer-based simulations. But again, a word of warning here. The integration of technology does not in and of itself enhance flexibility. It simply changes the approach which is used to include the use of technology. It is also true to say that the introduction of technology does not in and of itself change the pedagogic approach which is used, nor does it change the locus of control over choices that are made about content, pace, place or sequence. Where the teacher is in control, technologies can be used to reinforce teacher control. Where there is a partnership between teachers and learners, technology can also be used to support that partnership and the flexibilities that may come with that. There is also the possibility of using technology to shift the locus of control from the teacher to the learner. In terms of the dominant perspectives on teaching approaches, the use of technology does not change the underlying pedagogic assumptions that drive the teaching approach. Technology has the potential to reinforce and to change the dominant perspective of teaching from the transmissive, apprenticeship, transformative and development approaches that have been discussed in earlier videos.